Welcome back to another episode of Channel 8 News. This week, we look at the LeDuc lecture and reception, a certain staff member, and more. Your Channel 8 News starts right now.
Thanks for tuning in to Channel 8 News, the show where we provide the latest coverage on the Northwest Missouri State University campus and in the Maryville community. I'm Dylan Davis.
And I'm Jillian McNamara. Before we get into this week's episode, be sure to hit that notification bell for the latest news coverage as well as other KNWT content.
This past Thursday, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated hosted the Miss Black and Gold pageant. This pageant showcases the talent, beauty, and confidence within an elected group of young women, providing the opportunity of one of the participants to advance in competition and be pronounced as the winner of a varying scholarship. Sydney Lowry got the details.
Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated Rho Theta Chapter hosted the Miss Black and Gold Scholarship Pageant November 2nd in the Charles Johnson Theater at the Olive Duluth Fine Arts Building. Senior Sherry Harper was announced as the 2023 Miss Black and Gold, the overall pageant winner, and was awarded a $300 scholarship. Harper said she was overjoyed with winning the Miss Black and Gold title, as this isn't the first pageant she has gone to.
It's definitely a full circle moment. I grew up going to Miss Black and Gold pageants, and it's always been my dream to be Miss Black and Gold, so I'm super excited and proud to be her.
Senior Allison Neal was named Miss Gold, recognizing her for the talent portion. She received a $200 scholarship. Senior Jaylee Patel was named Miss Rho Theta and Miss Congeniality and received a $150 scholarship. The night kicked off with a dance number featuring all 7 of the women, then moved into introductions and then into the talent portion. The pageant also had a swimmer portion, and each contestant answered a scholarship question. Contestant number 1 was sophomore Shavaya Sessi. She is involved in the Black Student Union as the Vice President and Sergeant of Arms. She is an education major with a minor in mathematics. Her talent was performing a poem she wrote called Angry Black Woman. Contestant number 2 was junior Amaya Woods. She is a human services major with a minor in communications. Woods is involved in the Black Student Union and Northwest Dance Company. Her talent was performing a dance her younger sister choreographed. Contestant number 3 was Jaylee Patel. Patel is a general studies major with a concentration in theater, education, and communication. She is involved in Student Senate as a senior class representative. Her talent was speed painting a portrait to N95 by Kendrick Lamar. Contestant number 4 was Allison Neal. Neal is an applied health science major. She is a member of Phi Mu Zeta Lambda chapter and works at Mosaic Medical Center Maryville and a Step Ahead dance company. For her talent, she performed a Latin jazz dance. Contestant number 5 was junior Paula Konge Supke. She is a biopsychology major along with being a member of the Northwest cheer team and in the Phi Mu Zeta Lambda chapter. Her talent was doing a cheer performance that incorporated her tumbling skills. Contestant number 6 was junior Denise Neal. Neal is involved in the Alpha Sigma Alpha Phi Phi chapter and is president of the Black Student Union and works in the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Her talent was doing a spoken word performance from the book Untamed by Glennon Doyle. Contestant number 7 was Sherry Harper. She is a psychology major who plans on going to graduate school after a year of traveling. She is a member of the Black Student Union, an ambassador for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and a founder and chair of the Black Student Leaders Committee. She performed Easy on Me by Adele. For the scholarship question, Harper was asked to share a personal encounter she's had with racial prejudice or discrimination and how that experience has shaped her commitment to advocating for equality and social justice within the Black community.
I was once met with a situation where I had a friend who I could only go over her house, but she couldn't go over mine. And it ended up being because I had Black brothers and Black sisters and a Black father and a Black mother, and their parents didn't really feel comfortable having their child over there. So with that was definitely something that I had to learn how to overcome when not only choosing my friendships, but also having security in myself as a friend. So with that experience, I have chosen to make it my responsibility during my time here at Northwest to make sure that Black students have a place where they feel like they can make friends, where they can be safe, and where they can be comfortable.
Alpha Phi Alpha member Nick Bolton said the preparation for a competition like this takes 6 to 8 weeks, and he was happy to see everyone come out to the event.
I think it went great. I think all the contestants loved it. The people came, showed out. We ended up having over 200 people buy tickets.
For the stories that matter to you, this was Sydney Lowry with Channel 8 News.
As Sydney mentioned, the crowned Miss Black and Gold winner was granted a scholarship usable for the next semester, along with other recipients who were awarded with scholarships.
In other news, this past week, faculty member Stephen Chappell was inducted into the College Media Association Hall of Fame.
Chappell traveled to Atlanta, Georgia, where the College Media Association's National College Media Convention was held.
The John A. Boyd Hall of Fame recognizes longtime CMA members who have contributed to the betterment of the organization and student media programs in general. Individuals considered for the award must have contributed to college journalism education for at least 20 years while being an active member of CMA.
When we return, we will look at the weekly SAC meeting, the Brad LeDuc lecture and reception, and more. You're watching Channel 8 News on KNWT TV.
Northwest Missouri State University's 4 student media outlets, KNWT Television, KZLX LPFM, the Northwest Missourian, and Tower Yearbook have been ranked among the top in the nation for the College Media Association Pinnacle Awards. The Northwest Student Media Department takes pride in ensuring students are up to date on the latest technology, equipment, industry secrets, and offers profession-based learning experiences from day one. To support Northwest Student Media, check out our content on all of our platforms.
Check out our show, Gen 2, your favorite place for all things gaming and rarely medical related.
Our episodes post every Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Hey, do I really need surgery for this headache?
Yes.
Yeah, but I should
Go get the ice pick.
Welcome back to Channel 8 News. Every week, SAC holds a meeting on Thursdays. Dominic Ocampo got the inside details.
On Thursday, November 2nd, Northwest Student Activity Council, also known as SAC, held their weekly meeting. There, they went over business as well as had team building activities. I met with President Leah Trumbull to learn more about exactly what they were covering.
So my name is Leah Trumbull. I'm the president of Student Activities Council. Tonight we voted on some t-shirt designs for our general body, talked about signing up for exec board applications. They opened today. We talked about thanking people for coming to Grocery Bingo. We got a game show coming up in the next week. And yeah, we also went over our bylaws, added some new stuff in there, took some stuff out, and that's what we covered.
After going over how their meeting went, President Trumbull went into detail about how their organization has been doing this year.
So I've been a part of SAC the past 2.5 years. Personally, I think this is the best year we've ever had for SAC. When I first started, we didn't have very many general body members. And this year we have at least 20 coming to every meeting. And so we've had a lot more volunteers, which helps the exec board be a lot happier, not get as stressed out with their events. So with that, we've had a lot more attendance at our events. Like we beat our attendance this year at Grocery Bingo. And so I just think it's been like the most successful year I've had with SAC.
To wrap it up, Trumbull talked about future SAC events, including the spring concert, though details are very limited.
So we haven't picked a date for our concert yet. We're looking at a couple. We just have to plan around some stuff. But it's usually late March, early April. With that, we can't really tell anyone until our contract's final who we're picking. But other than that, we'll be doing, we have a guy named Joseph Tran coming in. He's going to do a game show. Starting up next year, we'll have Northwest Week. We do flowergrams and all sorts of stuff like that.
I then caught up with the director of Late Night and Weekend, Sarah Clayton, to find out more about how Grocery Bingo went.
Yeah, so I'm Sarah Clayton. I'm the director of Late Night and Weekend on the exec board. And our last event that we did was Grocery Bingo, and it was really, really successful. A lot of students really enjoyed that event because they get to get free groceries out of it. We had probably a little over 700 students in attendance at the event, so it was a really good time, and people just really enjoy that event.
Sarah ended with giving advice to anyone who might be looking to join SAC.
Anyone that's like on the fence about joining SAC, I would definitely say that it's a great leadership opportunity. I know personally I've grown so much as a leader in the role that I've had, and you just get a lot of experience with different people on campus and working with people in the community, and it's just a great way to grow as a student and also just as a person that's going to go into the professional world, because you get to email people, you get to do like the daily like office tasks, but you also get to put on really cool events and meet some really awesome people.
The Student Activity Council have had a very busy but very successful semester so far. Make sure to be on the lookout for any future SAC events because they have quite a bit planned for the student body. For stories that matter to you, this has been Dominic Ocampo.
Details were vague about SAC Spring Concert, but be sure to be on the lookout for any news regarding the event because things seem to be ramping up.
In other news, during Walkout Day, there is an annual flag raising ceremony. This year, there was a new flag created and raised by Horace Mann students.
The students of Sarah Winter's 5th and 6th grade class created a flag to represent leadership.
During this fall's flag raising ceremony, 2 of Winter's students, Karina Wall and Rayleigh Kirkpatrick, presented the flag their class designed.
As a class, we studied different flags from around the world, Wall said. We found out how flags are made, why they are made, and what each part of the flag represents. We also studied the American flag and why we are so proud of what it represents.
Kirkpatrick added, "Our flag represents the values we hold dear at Horace Mann and the Leet Center."
In other news, this week there was the Brad LeDuc Lecture and Reception. It was held in the Olive Duluth Fine Arts Building. Jacob Mustard attended.
Northwest Missouri State University hosted the Artists Who Teach featuring Brad LeDuc in the Olive Duluth Fine Arts Building. Brad LeDuc has spent the last 22 years in the classroom as a K-12 art educator and is a high school art teacher at Washburn Rural School in Topeka, Kansas.
Well, in Topeka, if you're an artist or you're into art education, you've heard of Brad LeDuc. He's really well known in that community. And so a lot of people told me, oh, you need to meet Brad, you need to meet Brad. And then when I did meet him, it was more of a I just was jumping into his classroom and I was so just impressed with how focused his kids were and how he interacted with them in this really kind of non-performative way. It was like a genuine, caring, kind of just this projection of love and light to each of the students. And I just thought, wow, this is amazing. What is he doing? And then the work is so professional that he's getting out of the kids too. Yeah, that's how I met Brad.
Art is often an overlooked subject in school, but it can reach a certain audience. Here are some of the most enjoyable reasons for teachers in art education.
Boy, I think the most enjoyable part for me is just relationships and getting to know kids on a more personal level. And then, after those relationships are established, seeing them, develop and create a voice through their work. It's definitely one of the highlights of teaching for sure.
I think the most enjoyable part is when students realize they've discovered something within themselves that they didn't know was there.
At this event, Brad shared some of his students' art projects from the previous years as examples of his teaching, but he also ranked the art projects that were put into the exhibition for this event. There were a lot of great pieces in the Duluth art exhibit which students were able to walk around and view after the presentation. During the presentation, there were some impactful messages that were shared from Brad, including his Unsung Heroes project.
The first one that comes to me is his Unsung Heroes project, where he focused on someone in the school and he had his students decide, who do we want to celebrate? I just thought that was such a wonderful idea, and how they all collaborated to make a portrait of that person. And I also liked that he was having students do really challenging things like installation and looking up statistics that they would explore through art to communicate a message to and about society. I felt like both of those things were just mind-blowing.
Make sure to check the Northwest Missouri State University events calendar to find similar events to this one. To wrap things up, we'll leave you with Brad's favorite quote from Michelangelo.
But one of his quotes, he said, something of the sorts of, my work wouldn't seem that great at all if people knew how hard I work, And I think it's like that with a lot of people who are successful artists, whatever it is they do. But a lot of times there's a lot going on behind the scenes that makes them successful, at least for the people that I look up to. So,
for the stories that matter to you, I'm Jacob Mustard with Channel 8 News.
When we come back, we will take a look at some of this week's Missourian issue. You're watching Channel 8 News on KNWT TV.
KZLX is a student-run radio station where Northwest students have complete freedom during their shifts. KZLX also hosts many radio shows such as Nermageddon, Revive, Day-to-Day Picks, and more. To learn more, visit kzlxfm.com.
future may...
And coming up next here, I'll have my interview with our new guest here on Who's Next on the X right after this quick break.
Time of day, we're on in 20.
Good morning.
Well, a lot of us do, you know, but maybe this might be your opportunity for that. Yeah.
Who's Next on the X?
Welcome back to Channel 8 News. In this segment, we're going to dive deep on some of this week's stories from the Missourian. Let's take a look.
Hannah Claywell reported on the new changes regarding financial aid. FAFSA has changed its form opening dates and deadlines after altering the way information is received.
In previous years, the FAFSA application has opened October 1st, but this year it's not opening until sometime in December. Director of Financial Assistance at Northwest, Charles Mayfield, said many schools are setting a tentative timeline for when they get back from winter break or January 1st.
The FAFSA changed its dates because of a bill Congress passed in 2019 that made substantial changes to the way financial aid processes work. The changes FAFSA is making is part of the Simplification Act, and all changes should be completed by July 1st of next year.
This change in the timeline for the FAFSA has also changed the Standard Scholarships timeline. The Standard Scholarship will now be due April 1st compared to the normal February 1st. Now, both the FAFSA and Standard Scholarship will be due the same day. April 1st is a tentative date the university is predicting to give students enough time to fill out the forms.
In other news, news reporter Dakota Oswalt got more information regarding agricultural education. The Agriculture Education on the Move program has partnered with the Northwest Technical School FFA chapter and third grade students from St. Gregory Barbarigo School to promote the learning of Missouri agriculture.
The program, initially brought forth by the Missouri Farmers Care Foundation in 2011, aims to help elementary students build knowledge on agriculture and how it affects them personally.
Dylan Steens, an agriculture teacher at the Northwest Technical School, said while the Agriculture Education on the Move partnership is with St. Gregory third graders, he hopes to get all schools in the Maryville community involved with the program. The technical school still needs to look at the logistics of incorporating bigger schools into the mix.
For more on these stories and other coverage on campus and community news, check out nwmissourinews.com or pick up a paper from the boxes across campus.
Well, that's all the time we have for Channel 8 News. Be sure to go to the description below to rewatch certain sections of our show.
And be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all the latest news and updates. This has been Channel 8 News. Thank you for watching.